Okay, welcome to turn 1, 11 a.m. for Fredericksburg 160th Anniversary playthrough using the Glory 3 system across the Rappahannock. This is the first turn, as I said, uh, turn 1 at 11 a.m. And as I said in the introduction here, we've got everything set up here, playing it on the real cardboard and paper. And we've got everything set. So the first turn, the Union actually has the initiative. And I've got the chits in the cup, both for the Confederates and the Union. And the Union's going to go first. And they're going to start off with Smith's brigade here. There we go. Smith's corps, I should say, not brigade. So he'll lead off the attack here. Now Smith is actually over in this area, right over in here. And I think strategy-wise, this is going to be a tough one for the Union, I think. But strategy-wise, I think we're going to deviate a little bit. We're actually going to have Smith come forward straight ahead rather than deviate down here and try to go after Hamilton Crossing with the First Corps. But he's actually going to come up here and try to push through with Pickett and McLaws up over here. And he's going to get some support, hopefully from Wilcox. That's the 9th Corps, Burnside's old corps, as well, coming up here to potentially attack. Going to try to steer clear of the stone wall if possible. Try to break through here where it's a little less defensible, although there's a lot of units here, but we're in the woods. That'll limit the artillery here a little bit. And hopefully give the Union some capabilities here. So that's what we're going to try to do, force in through here with both the left and right corps in through here to try to capture the Telegraph Road. Now, for the Confederates, trying to play the devil's advocate on this, Lee is spread out across the whole area here, which I showed you before. And he's just going to respond to this. And once the attack develops, then we'll see how he'll have reinforcements to work with, because he's got a very limited amount of reinforcements. Most of his units are deployed either over here at Hamilton Crossing or on Mary's Heights over here, as well as Lee's Hill over here to defend. So if there is a breakthrough, it's going to be very tough to defend on it. So they're going to have to hold the line as much as possible and shift as needed with this. So anyways, we'll get going with this and move forward with turn 1 of Fredericksburg, and the first activation is going to be Smith's Corps. So we've completed Smith's first movement here, and as you can see, if I zoom in here a little bit, you'll see that Smith has just moved forward, looking to attack into this position by the woods. Hopefully that'll give them enough cover to hopefully break through over there. So that's all for Smith. Let's take a look at the next activation. That's going to be another Union activation, Wilcox. So Wilcox will be next. That actually plays into a good fortune for the Union because they want to move up into this slot over here. Coming back after Wilcox's movement, his units have moved up from the riverside, heading straight up the hex row, as well as out of the south side of town across Hazel Run and positioning over here, so providing that wedge of an attack coming across over there. So we'll probably have the 2nd Corps, who's just off camera to the south, to the north, from the map perspective, fill in to the south side of town over there. So the next one out, oh, again, another Union jet, Wilcox again. So they will have their second move. So this will be interesting to see how they're going to get positioned and go from there. We're back with the end of Wilcox's second activation, and we'll just zoom in here to show you where things left off. So Wilcox moved up Burns to engage but not attack. So they're really just kind of skirmishing right here. Both Kershaw and Siemens units, as well as trying to get into this gap over here to try to push. Now this is going to force Lee to do something once Lee gets an activation going over here, but we're not going to go into attack because these are really tough positions. Just to give you some idea, these are both units are 7s, so that's 14, pretty powerful against a 5. Now normally that would be a 2-to-1, but they're going to be going uphill and against fortifications. So first off, the defensive fire gets an automatic +2, one for the open ground, one for the improved position. So they would hit on basically a 5 or higher to knock them out. So good chance that they would get knocked out. Second thing is, the 14 against 5, obviously I said 2-to-1, but the other problem here is it's going to be uphill and improved position, so it's going to be -2 on that. So that actually cancels out the advantage that they would have. The cohesions are the same, 6-to-6, so it'll be an equal roll. So we're going to wait on that because we are in a position right now that Wilcox took their second activation, so they don't have another activation here, and I don't want to leave them out hanging there for this turn. So come next turn, they'll look to be attacking. So we'll move on to the next chit, and that's going to be Reynolds. Again, the Union is moving everything, so it looks like probably the back half of the turn is going to be Confederates. Okay, back taking a look at Reynolds' deployment. And we'll try to zoom in here for you. There we go. So Meade has basically strung his line out over here, covering Bowling Green, the intersection with Bowling Green Road, back to the river, and then back up hooking with Smith, kind of in a open line formation here, just kind of covering the flank and potentially threatening to go after Hamilton Crossing over here, trying to pin Jackson in place. We'll see how that works as time rolls on here. But now he's deployed and ready to go. So let's take a look at our next activation for this first turn. Now we've got a Confederate. Jackson comes out. So now I've got to take a look at Jackson and see what he wants to do to respond to all this action on his front. Taking a look back here at Jackson's first move, he's played it very aggressive over here. Kind of got some long range shots here for you, but we'll just kind of look at it strategically over here. First and foremost, D.H. Hill came on. He can come on as reinforcements. He's coming up the Port Royal Road to block any Union attack and provide some potential counterattack over here. And I should say Pelham's artillery plus some of the Second Corps artillery and Early's artillery knocked out one Union unit of Doubleday's blocking that intersection there. They actually scored a couple of hits and failed, disordered, and then were removed off of there. Early himself pretty much stayed where he is. Same with A.P. Hill. Taliaferro moved into more of a reserve position behind Hood, just kind of positioning for what Smith was doing over here. Whether Smith, again, trying to play a little bit of fog of war for the Confederates, whether Smith is going to come here against Hood or somewhere over in this area, he can provide reserves over here now that D.H. Hill has come up on that side as well. So that's all for Jackson's first move. I think that's pretty much good to counter the Union's efforts. And our next chip out is Pleasanton and the artillery. So that's the Union artillery that's across the river, that's rings across the river here. So we're going to have to see what type of artillery support they can provide. Hopefully they can give a little bit of help for the Union and some preparatory bombardments here. Well, the Union artillery was fairly ineffective coming across. Just the ranges are too great at the moment. So on to the next chit, and next to come out is going to be Lee and Longstreet. Okay, Lee and Longstreet have finished up here, and just to give you some idea, not much has changed, just a little positioning of artillery over here, and a little bit of firing over in here, but no damage was incurred from it. Some of the artillery is moving up over here, as well as others repositioning over here at the point where Union is making contact with McLaws. So that is pretty much it for Lee and Longstreet. The next one coming out is the artillery, Union artillery again. Okay, the artillery attacked by the Union again. Not much effect. Again, only a couple guns within range at the moment. Still staying on the other side of the river while units deploy on this side, the west side of the river, just to eliminate log jams over here. So moving on to the next chit. This is going to be Couch, another Union chit. Okay, Couch has deployed his units. Hancock has moved into the southern part of the town. The artillery is positioned on the west side facing Mary's Heights to provide some support. And then position behind this, French has moved up behind them to support, and Howard is defending the northern part of the town right there. And that'll be it for them for now. The next chit, Jackson. Okay, looking to the north here again to see what's happened with Jackson. He has attacked with D.H. Hill's reinforcements, pushing down the the Port Royal Road and really hitting Doubleday hard, pushing back one brigade that was defending over there and actually retaking the Bowling Green Road intersection with the Port Royal Road on there. The rest of Jackson's line is just kind of holding here. Same thing with Taliaferro in reserve over here. They're in a good position, and they're doing some damage to the first corps over here, giving pause to the Union a little bit in terms of what their next move is going to be. So let's move on to the next chit, and that's going to be Smith. All right, let's see what Smith can do here. Okay, so Smith has finished his movement here. Brooks in the middle here has moved up and actually attacked Barksdale up on the in the woods over here, and actually has won and broke through to get up onto the top of the hill. So that is actually a good thing for the Union. Brooks also has units over here flanking to try to lock in, or at least keep keep Pickett occupied. At the same time, providing a little bit of support for Burnside's, or not Burnside's, but Wilcox's attack over here. To the just behind him, we have reinforcements coming up from Newton, and Howe is taking up a defensive position over to the left side of the flank to link up with Reynolds to try to hold off any type of counterattack from Hood and Jackson over to the Union left. So on with the last chit, which is going to be most likely, yes, it is. It's Lee and Longstreet. So let me finish the turn off for that. Okay, we're back with the end of the turn. Lee and Longstreet here. Again, just a little bit more repositioning of artillery to be more at the front, and a little bit of firing there with not much effect on there as well. So Lee and Longstreet basically hold this line right here, and the Union has moved up both the 9th Corps here, the 6th Corps just up here to the north, right here, and has started to try to push the attack through against Lee's Hill back here. They've made some progress, and Confederates are just kind of holding the ground for now. I think they will be able to firm up here a little bit as the turns go on, but we'll see about that. The Union has made some progress here, but we'll see how the chits go with the next turn. Back in the town of Fredericksburg, the 2nd Corps has established its line, excuse me, its line here, defending the town and setting up guns to help support the attack up through the center. And then to the south, we have Meade lining up to hold the line against the Port Royal Road, but he's kind of failing as D.H. Hill has attacked up here and pushed his flank back a little bit. Not too worried about that. Hamilton Crossing, although it would be nice to capture, is going to be really tough. Jackson has a really strong hold on there, and just the units aren't there to push through. And my strategy for the Union side is the Telegraph Road, trying to break through here and capture as many of these hexes as possible to win over here. Not going after Mary's Heights, not going after Hamilton Crossing, because they are too well guarded and well protected within there. This will be tough enough in this particular area, particularly once the fighting gets going, and then Lee and Longstreet can drag units over from Anderson over here. I'm thinking namely of Mahone and Wright. They could abandon their positions over here, leaving that to Posey and Wilcox to defend there, because the Union is not posing a threat over here, posing it to the Mary's Heights, and particularly to Lee's Hill over here as well. So it could get interesting. Now, we didn't have the center Grand Division in play. That would be the 3rd Corps and the 5th Corps. They might come in later as reinforcements. The artillery did have some shots, but they are kind of out of range. We'll see about repositioning them next turn as our troops are moving forward away from the bridges a little bit, so that they can potentially get across and maybe get some of these medium guns into action here as well. So that's the end of the first turn. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm doing kind of a condensed version without all the die rolls, everything else in there to make this a little bit cleaner for folks. Hopefully you'll still get the flavor of the battle. Hopefully I can cover everything with my cameras. There's a very, very wide battle on here, so it's going to be a little bit tricky. I may also be trying to reposition some of the cameras here a little bit. And as we get into the action, I may show a little bit more down in here of the actual dice rolls as we get in there. But this is the end of the first turn. Hopefully you enjoy it, and we'll see you on turn 2. Thanks a lot.